Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Film School Recommended. My name is Daniel, and I am your host. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what is Film School Recommended? Essentially, Film School Recommended is me suggesting films for anyone from the novice to the semi-professional filmmakers, as well as those that are cinephiles, even to watch as a means of exploring and understanding the art of film, basically, and hoping to educate the next generation of what filmmaking is. And of course, I'm really glad to be able to do this video. And in fact, let's just go ahead and jump right into the very first film I'm going to recommend, and that film is Koyaanisqatsi. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why did you select this film for? Well, back in, I think it was, back in 2005, the fall of 2005, I had a class called Intro to Film. Now, this class, basically, it introduces people to the ability to understand how to read a film, the importance of each aspect in film, such as cinematography, direction, camera positioning, so on and so forth. In fact, I had this class well before I went to Full Sail University. Now, when it came to our first film, this was the film that was shown. Now, the thing that was interesting to me about it was that our professor said, what I'm about to show you is a film that sort of tells a story, but it does not have a plot, nor does it have any central characters. When I first heard it, I thought it was impossible. I was like, that's like trying to rip someone's skull out of the head and beating them to death with it. Impossible. But, long story short, he put the film on, and it was amazing. I was impressed with this film. It did, in a way, tell a story, even though the director, Godfrey Reggio, did not intend for there to be a story there. He pretty much designed this film to be an experience and allowed the audience to fill in whatever story they felt they got from it. Now, how about I just go ahead and break it down to you so that way you can understand a little bit about the film and why I choose it. When it comes to the film, it uses a mix of on-location footage and stock footage, at regular speed, slowed down, and sped up, to help convey the story about mankind, nature, and the modern-day world. Yes, this film came out in 1982, and times have changed, but the story is still applicable to humanity as a whole. The cinematographer, Ron Freck, captures the day-to-day of life in the United States, showing the extraordinary, hidden behind the mundane, everyday setting that human beings exist in. One moment, we could be witnessing the breakneck speed shot of a freeway at night, The next, we could be witnessing a slow-motion street scene focusing on a woman trying to light her lighter to smoke. For the lighting, the film uses natural lighting as much as it can, even for stylish shots like ones featuring caves and daylight street scenes. Even pre-existing artificial lighting is used, such as night scenes, interiors of stores, factories, and buildings. Though the audio of everyday life has been recorded and used in some parts in the film, the main soundtrack of the film is the score composed by minimalist music composer Philip Glass. The hypnotic sound of its repetition structure and tones helping in drawing in the audience into the wonder of how the world is as they see it for the very first time in a new way. Many people may recognize some of the pieces of the score, as parts have been used in films like The Watchmen for its Dr. Manhattan history sequence, and used humorously in the TV series Scrubs during the janitor giving the evil eye scenes. In fact, during the editing of the film, the composing of the score, Reggio actually switched some of the sequences in the film around due to how the music that was composed for one section worked better in another. As mentioned before with the visuals, the film combines shot footage and stock footage. In some cases, some scenes are slowed down to emphasize a certain moment or focus on a certain person. Other times, the footage is cranked up in its speed, leaving streaks of light and giving a sense of wonder of the world. In fact, some have compared Koyaanisqatsi's visuals and editing to that of the 1929 silent Russian film, Man with a Movie Camera, to which Koyaanisqatsi also shares similar themes. If you're looking to experience a wonderful film, Koyaanisqatsi does an excellent job at exploring the everyday life by making the audience step back and see everything anew. Between the visuals, the audio, and the editing, the film is one that shows you life and how chaotic and beautiful it can be. The film went through a limited release in 1983. However, through the release for the home market, such as MGM releasing the film on DVD, it was able to reach its audience. In December of 2012, the Criterion Collection released a remastered Blu-ray and DVD as a part of a box set with the two follow-up films by Godfrey Reggio of the Qatsi trilogy. At the time of this video's posting, the film is available on Amazon Video, and the older MGM DVD release can be found on eBay if you don't want to spend so much money on the Blu-ray. And of course, I highly recommend watching the movie at night with the lights off so you can get a real sense of how it was originally presented. Or if you happen to know a theater that's showing the film, check it out in all its glory in the big screen. The primary reason why I recommend this film is because it's the first example I can give for beginning to semi-pro filmmakers, especially as an important lesson. And that lesson is how visual and audio of the medium is meant to help in telling the story. The problem with most filmmakers nowadays is that they're more focused on the visuals instead of how that visual aspect is meant to help them tell the story. This film will get you thinking about why the visual format is helpful in telling the story about mankind as it is. But most importantly, Reggio has stated that the films of the Qatsi trilogy were intended solely to create an experience for the audience, and that it was up to them to figure out what the film means to themselves. For some, it's a celebration of life. For others, a warning of disaster and the end of mankind. But if you're a filmmaker, or even a cinephile, Koyaanisqatsi is not one to miss. Check it out for yourself and see what the story tells you. In short, Koyaanisqatsi is film school recommended. That's pretty much the first episode of Film School Recommended. Now, of course, as I've mentioned before, the reason why I'm getting into doing this series is primarily because I want to help educate those who are starting out in film or has been in film a while, and giving films to help them find inspiration and understand the art of cinema, why film is not just important, why watching older movies is important in general. One of my instructors, Jose, did a little video, which should be right here right now, about the importance of directors watching older movies and not just watching what came out last year. And of course, the importance is that by watching older movies, it helps in getting those filmmakers to widen their palettes, to be able to take art in and be able to express art out in a way that most filmmakers don't even bother to pay attention to these days. Like I said before, this is episode 1 of 7 for a test series. If it picks up within the first 7 episodes, then I'll continue to do as many of these videos as I can, in hopes that it'll reach out to filmmakers that are looking for inspiration. And of course, as I said, I got plenty of videos that I can choose from, some good, some bad, but more importantly, it is meant to be a resource, and I hope that the series picks up, and hope that I'm able to help. And of course, I thank you very much for your time and for your patience. I hope you all have a great night wherever you are, and that things continue to go well on the other end of your computer screens. Peace!